I'm going to tell you something that nobody in the AI agency space is going to tell you. The AI agency model has genuinely changed my life, and I've done consistent $40,000 to $50,000 months, and in just the past few months alone, I've generated over 6 figures in profit. I left a top 5 business school in the country to go all in on this. There's countless videos that I put out of me struggling, signing clients, building this entire thing from scratch because I've actually done it. But the way that these gurus are promoting this business model on TikTok and Instagram is complete BS. And if you're trying to get into this space, you have to understand what's real, what's fake, what to actually look for, and what nobody's going to tell you from the start. So in this video, I'm going to break down exactly what an AI agency actually is, the biggest lies that influencers are pushing right now, why some people are making life-changing money, and why most people end up failing it. And I'm saying all of this as someone who's actually done it and lived through every phase of it. I went from being at one of the top 5 business schools in the country, the safe path, the path that everybody wanted me to take, to closing a few deals with my AI agency, realizing how big the opportunity was, and then leaving that school and going all in. And to be fully honest with you guys, it was the hardest decision that I've ever made. But once I figured out what the influencers were lying about and I focused on the things that actually mattered, everything changed for me. So let me clear something up. What an AI agency actually is and what it's not. An AI agency is not a tech company. You're not building software, you're not an engineer, and you're not a developer. In plain English, you're a business consultant who goes into a business, identifies the problems, sells them the solution, and then has a developer build out that entire system for the business owner for 15 to 20% of the total project cost. And then you're going to keep the rest as profit. That's it. There's no magic, there's no secret. You close a deal, you manage the relationship, and the developer handles the technical work. And all you do is just collect the payment from the client and also get paid monthly by that client to keep the AI systems running. Now, the businesses that you have to target are small to medium-sized businesses. I personally target home service businesses, roofers, plumbers, electricians, HVAC, you name it. The ones doing $1 to $10 million a year with real problems that AI can solve directly. Missed calls, slow follow-up, manual admin work eating up all the payroll costs. These businesses are losing hundreds of thousands of dollars a year because they do not have the systems that you're going to install for them. And yes, people do make incredible money doing this, but it's not what they say on TikTok. Most successful beginners are not making $30,000 to $50,000 a month just like that. Most successful beginners make between $7K and $15K in their first 60 to 90 days, and then it compounds from there. The problem with this industry is that the influencers are inflating the best possible results just to sell you on their course. What you see online is to quit your job in 30 days, make 10 to 30 grand in your first few weeks doing this. Anyone can do this, no experience required. What you don't see is the months of individuals building real sales skills. You don't see the rejection, you don't see the meetings with business owners that go nowhere, you don't see the no-shows, you don't see the income fluctuations in the early months. And to be fully honest with you guys, there were months in the beginning where I made almost nothing. And then the month after that, I close a few deals and make $20,000. And that's the reality. The income is a little bit lumpy in the start, but you have to be okay with that. So this industry is not fake. You can make a ton of money just like I've done, but you have to understand everything that comes with it. Now let me get into the actual lies because this is where most people get cooked. Lie number 1, you need to master Claude Code, you need to master NAN, you need to become a master of building these automations. And the hard part of this business is the fulfillment. And truthfully, this is the biggest lie that I'm seeing in this space right now. And I fell for it myself a year and a half ago. I was spending all of my time in these softwares trying to master everything. I was so fascinated about how cool the workflows were, how the systems work, and I could just build things that sounded like they were going to make me a ton of money. And then I got on a sales call with the business owner. I walked them through every feature, every tool that I actually built and how cool it was. And then that business owner still wasn't convinced because they couldn't see what it was actually going to do for their specific business and their problems. Then it just clicked for me that they don't care. They don't care about the technology. They care about one very simple thing. Does it make me money and does it save me time? That's it. It all comes down to that. And here's what the gurus and the influencers online are not telling you, that the fulfillment is the easiest part. You hand the build off to a developer. They build it. You manage it. That's it. Anybody could do that. The hard part in this business is acquisition. Getting clients, having conversations, booking calls, closing deals. That's where 90% of the difficulty is, and that's where the real game is actually played. And that's exactly what they don't teach you because it's way easier to sell a course on just go build some systems and you'll make a bunch of money rather than go talk to people and get better at sales and you actually start making money. It's way easier to sell one than the other. The influencers selling you courses on master the software are stealing your time. They're keeping you stuck when you really should be selling and learning how to acquire more clients for your AI business because that skill is so much more valuable than the fulfillment side of things. Lie number 2, anybody can do this. Anyone with the right traits can do this, but not literally anyone. You do need actual skills, not just the ones that they're selling you. You don't need to know how to code. You don't need to know how to be technical, but you do need need to know how to have a strategic conversation with a business owner. You need to be able to listen. You need to be able to ask the right questions. You need to be able to hold your frame when someone pushes back on your price that you just offered them. And you also need to be able to position an effective solution based off the business owner's problems that they just explained to you. These kids that are 16, 17, 18 years old who don't even have a job and can barely hold a conversation with anybody are gonna have to learn this skill. They're watching these videos online of these influencers thinking they're gonna hit 30 grand a month in like 20 days when in reality, you can't learn a skill that fast. I had the work ethic before I even got into this. And truthfully, I had communication skills because I've been learning, I've been around business owners my entire life. I had a pretty strong foundation. That's why it looked like I came up so fast. But in reality, I was building those skills years before I closed my first client. Now, I'm not saying that you can't learn this skill, but truthfully, you shouldn't expect it to happen overnight. It's gonna take at least 1, 2, 3 months of you actually sitting there, getting better at sales and having more conversations, putting more reps in for you to actually build a strong foundation that's going to work and scale you to the months that you dream of. Lie number 3 is that you could only charge $500 to $2,000 for these systems. And this one genuinely drives me crazy because I see so many other AI agency owners stuck between $5,000 and $10,000 a month wondering why they can't scale. And this is because most gurus tell you to charge $500 up front, maybe even $1,500 if you really want to push it. And then maybe even a $200 retainer on top of that. And they make it sound like that's what the market's going to pay and that's what the systems are actually worth. And truthfully, as someone who's talked to thousands of business owners, that's complete BS. I charge between $5,000 and $15,000 up front for these systems, plus $1,000 to $4,000 a month as a retainer. Some clients even more than that. And the business owners pay it happily, not because they're paying for the system, but it's because they are paying for the outcome. And I showed them what that outcome can generate them. When I install a voice agent, a speed to lead system, a lead reactivation system for a roofing company, and that system generates over $159,000 in revenue in just 3 months, do you think they really care about the $12,000 that I charge them up front? They would have easily paid $20,000 to $30,000 for it. And the reason that most people undercharge all ties back into sales because they don't know how to sell the outcome and actually break it down with the business owner and use the proper framework to close the deals. They're selling the technology, they're selling the build, they're selling the AI voice agent that they're going to give them. Where what I'm doing is I'm selling the outcome that they're going to achieve with my system, the hundreds of thousands of dollars that they're going to make back and save because of my system. I'm selling the 100% answer rate on phone calls. I'm selling the $132,000 in payroll that we're going to make back for that company. And truthfully, the pricing is not even a conversation when you sell it that way. It's all a logically based sale. If you're charging $500 to $2,000 for these systems, you're not just leaving money on the table. You're actively hurting the client because at that price, you just cannot afford a great developer to build that system for them. You can't deliver real results and the client thinks AI doesn't work and you go broke trying to do this at volume because it just doesn't make sense. Charge what it's worth, sell the outcome, not the technology. That's how this business actually works. So now let's talk about who actually wins in this industry because there are 3 traits that I see in every single person that breaks through. Number 1, they're obsessed with acquisition. They don't care about tools, they don't care about technology, they care about having more conversations with business owners than anybody else in the space. Because right now, in the AI agency game, more conversations equal more money. AI is so hot right now. Every business owner knows that they need it, they just don't know who to trust and they're lacking the implementation. So that's exactly where you come in. So the person that is in the most conversations wins every single time. Number 2, they detach from the money and actually focus on the craft and the skill. Truthfully, the people that are winning in this business are not chasing money or not chasing a $20,000, $30,000 a month in the beginning. They're chasing the skill. They want to get better on every single call. They see every cold call that they get to know as real data that they could learn from. They want to ask sharper questions. They want to handle objections a little bit clearer every single time. They want to close stronger. The money follows the skill, not the other way around. The people who win get on 100 calls and they don't even care about if they close or not. They care about the lesson and collecting data from every conversation that they have. And number 3, they network with people who are already winning. They don't try to figure it out alone. They reach out to people in the space. They join communities. They build relationships with other agency owners. And then they learn from people who have actually done it. When I got into this, I sought out the biggest people in the space. I reached out to them and I paid for their time. I asked them what they were saying on their sales calls, how they were handling their fulfillment, where they were finding developers. And I didn't waste months trying to figure it out all on my own. I shortcutted my way to results by getting around people who had already done it. That's the cheat code. Network with operators, get around the right people, and learn from people who have actually done it to get to success way faster. And once you get into the industry and you actually start trying to learn, there's something else that nobody's telling you. Most people don't last. Getting into this business isn't actually that hard. Staying in it, becoming a top 10% earner is where it kind of gets a little bit more difficult. You deal with rejection, you deal with fluctuancies, and you quit before you can even build momentum. But the good thing about this business is that you could see momentum quicker than almost any other business model that is around right now. I went from being a broke college kid to closing my first deal, to closing my second deal, and then dropping out and making over 6 figures in profit with this exact business model. And I documented that entire thing. That's real momentum, real fast. But the reason I built that momentum is because as soon as I started closing deals, I would document the before and after process of what I did for my clients. I'd ask for referrals from my clients. I, post on social media. I try to get more clients to my business. And then one result built on the other. And as a result, more people recognized me and deals just started coming to me organically. Influencers sell the dream. They show the entry phase, but they don't show the phase where you're just working, you're not making money for weeks to maybe even sometimes months. They don't show you the intricate stuff in between that actually moves the needle. That's why everybody thinks that this industry is fake, saturated, or maybe even a scam. And from my perspective, the gap between the dream and the reality is where most people are going to get lost. So here's my final honest take on this industry. You should actually be glad that these influencers and gurus are selling the dream, because most of the people watching their content right now are going to quit. Most of them are going to chase the lifestyle and are not going to put in the work required to get that lifestyle. And that means more clients, more opportunities, and more money available for the people that are actually trying to treat this like a profession and build a real skill. The AI agency model is definitely not dead, but the dream that these influencers are selling kind of is. And the people that treat this like a real business, not easy money, not shiny object syndrome, are the individuals that win. The people chasing the lifestyle videos, those people are genuinely cooked and they're never going to win. Expectations should be your best friend. Come into this with expectations of what it's actually going to take. Detach from the outcome, focus on your craft, and have more conversations than anybody else in the space. And I promise you will win. If you want to do this the right way and skip the months of figuring it out alone, click the link in the description. I work with people directly one-on-one who are serious about building this. People who treat it like a profession, people who are willing to go out there and actually execute. You'll get access to all of my developers, all my systems, all my frameworks, everything you need to be successful, but you have to go out and actually put in the work too. And if this video saved you from believing the dream that these influencers are selling, consider liking and subscribing. I'm only going to talk about the raw, real version of this business that nobody else talks about on this channel, because truthfully, there are already enough people lying about it and it's pissing me off. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace and love.